Now at 10, another mass shooting at another school.
These sort of tragedies aren't supposed to happen here.
Tonight, national outcries. Authorities search for clues behind the deadly rampage in Oregon.
Our thoughts and prayers are not enough. Somehow this has become routine.
Plus, a father turns the heartbreaking death of his son into a plea for other parents.
He was just experimenting from one to another. He never even tried the same thing twice.
Our top story, at least 10 people killed, 7 others injured in a mass shooting at an Oregon community college. Tonight, people in Roseburg came together to hold a vigil for those victims. NBC News is reporting that the gunman, 26-year-old Chris Harper Mercer, was killed in a shootout with officers. His identity was revealed by law enforcement officers just 2 hours ago. We've also learned investigators recovered 4 guns from the scene, but authorities say the motive behind the attack is still a mystery. The investigation is still very active in Roseburg, Oregon, about 180 miles south of Portland. John Croman was watching updates as they came in tonight. He's here now with the latest. John?
Well, Randy, one of the survivors told a local newspaper in Roseburg that the man with the gun asked people what religion they were, what their religion was, before he started shooting. And with 4 guns found so far, it is clear this gunman planned a killing rampage.
Active shooter at UCC 1140 Umpqua College Road.
The gunfire broke out at 10:38 local time at Umpqua Community College.
Somebody is outside one of the doors, shooting through the door.
One student tweeted, "Students are running everywhere. Holy God. OMG, there's someone shooting on campus."
I turned around and I looked and I could just see people pouring out of the buildings and everybody's like crying and it was chaotic. No one knew what was going on.
Some ran for cover while others sheltered in place in keeping with the college security plan.
And then the next thing we know, we hear 3 or 4 more gunshots and everybody just looked at each other and we knew something was going on and they're like, this is real.
The suspect is down. We've got multiple gunshot wounds. We're going to need multiple ambulances.
We do know that we have at least 2 heroic officers who responded into the building within minutes and exchanged gunfire with the suspect.
The shooter was taken down by law enforcement, but by then 10 were dead, 7 others seriously wounded.
I will not name the shooter. I will not give him the credit he probably sought prior to this horrific and cowardly act.
Those responding to the mass casualty event turned their attention to identifying victims and notifying families.
We have families waiting for the last bus to arrive with students on it, and we have grief counselors for those parents who have no children coming off that bus.
Very little has emerged so far about the victims, and the sheriff said tonight he won't be releasing any of the names, at least until tomorrow at the earliest. The president of the college said that the students there range in age from 16 to 60. Randy?
All right, thank you, John. Today's incident in Oregon was the 41st school shooting in America just this year. Until today, those shootings have claimed the lives of 9 people. The statistic had an upset President Obama getting political in a statement today. In a plea for stricter gun laws, he said these shootings have become far too routine.
This is a political choice that we make. To allow this to happen every few months in America. We collectively are answerable to those families.
According to the group Everytown for Gun Safety, there have been 142 incidents in which a gun was fired on a school campus since the massacre in Newtown in December of 2012. Flags in Oregon are flying at half-staff to honor the victims, and tomorrow the community will hold a blood drive as investigators work to uncover more about the attack. And you can find updates on KARE 11 Sunrise and at KARE11.com. We're watching a developing story out of Afghanistan tonight. A U.S. defense official says 11 people, including 6 U.S. service members, are dead after a military transport plane crashed at Jalalabad Airport. Details of what caused the plane to go down are still unclear. The U.S. has about 9,800 troops in Afghanistan. Back here at home, a Chanhassen father is warning parents of a dangerous drug trend. Jeremy Snyder is planning a funeral for his 17-year-old son, days after his overdose. The synthetic drug that likely killed him is illegal in the U.S., but that didn't stop Alex Snyder from being able to buy DPT online. Tonight, Jay Olstead has the heartbroken father's plea to other parents.
We knew we had to let him go. It was very hard.
Outside his home in Victoria, Jeremy Snyder talks about his 17-year-old son and how quickly his curiosity killed him.
He went from 0 to 60 really fast. He started with pot just like 6 months ago, and then he just progressed into other things.
Those other things he found on the internet, specifically a website that sold synthetic drugs out of China. There, he found an array of mysterious stimulants and psychedelics, including the one believed to have killed him, DPT, which his dad says he bought for $400.
Have a kid go this quickly, I don't want to see it happen to anybody else's kids. It's heartbreaking. It's horrible.
He says after catching Alex experimenting with powerful drugs like LSD, he and his wife put their son in outpatient treatment, which he was undergoing when police found him lying face up in a marsh at Lake Minnewaska Regional Park on Sunday.
He had had a heart attack on the spot, some kind of seizure along with it.
2 days later, his parents took him off life support.
It's completely unfathomable to even feel like this.
But he fought through his emotions because he wants parents to be more vigilant than ever when it comes to their kids and drugs.
He was always the light of everybody's life.
And he wants us to know his son, a bright kid who would have graduated from Chanhassen High School in December, 6 months early, on his way to UW-Madison, hoping to become an astrophysicist one day. Instead, he's become one of the many statistics. What do you want people to know about him?
They missed out. They really did. He was something special for sure.
Yeah, his parents say Alex was a giving person, even in his death. They say he donated his organs and likely saved others. Meantime, we've put a few links on our website, tips for parents on how to spot drug abuse in your children and what to do about it if you do. Just click on our story at KARE11.com. Randy.
Boy, what a heartbreaking story. All right, thank you, Jay. New developments in the threat to disrupt the Twin Cities Marathon this weekend. After meeting with the mayor of St. Paul this morning, Black Lives Matter St. Paul says members will not block runners from finishing. The threat was made earlier this week to draw attention to recent incidents between police and people of color. After meeting Black Lives Matter, leader Rashad Turner expressed gratitude for the mayor's commitment to issues of racial inequality.
The mayor has agreed, the city attorney, Sammy Clark, has agreed to keep us at the table, keep our community's voices at the table, and that's what we look forward to.
Black Lives Matter has been given space by the city to lawfully rally near the finish line of the race. In Burnsville, police are crediting a 75-year-old man's quick thinking for helping them make 2 arrests. Dominic Hackett and Ziante Todd are accused of breaking into the victim's townhome as he slept. Police say the victim woke up, called 911, and whispered to dispatchers that there were men in his home. He then pretended to be asleep when one of the men stole medication from his nightstand. Court records say they found the victim's stolen items in the suspect's SUV. At least 5 East Coast states are under a state of emergency tonight as Hurricane Joaquin churns in the Atlantic. The Bahamas is getting battered with 130-mile-an-hour winds right now. But Joaquin's projected path is still up in the air. Belle's here now with the latest update from the National Hurricane Center. Belle?
Well, Randy, as we start here in Minnesota, quiet weather. We'll talk about the weekend forecast and have your cabin cast. Now we fly down to the Bahamas where, as you mentioned, we have a Category 4 hurricane. And the current report that just came out around 15 minutes ago still has it at a Category 3, 130-mile-per-hour storm. The good news is that it does look as though it is going to stay off the coast. But the bad news is it's been raining all week along the East Coast. So as this storm does move up the East Coast, it'll bring, of course, all that moisture with it. As it dies down, a lot of that moisture will be released in the form of rain, basically from Raleigh all the way up through Boston. Those areas have been drenched all week. So even though the latest projections are keeping it off the coast, which is, of course, fabulous, the bottom line is it's going to be a wet weekend along the East Coast. We'll have to watch it very closely, and we'll continue doing that through the weekend. And, of course, we'll have your forecast coming up in just a couple of minutes.
All right. Thank you, Belle. Still ahead at 10, the Twins bounce back for a series win against the Indians tonight. Plus, new design plans for the Mall of America that could make the shopping experience larger than ever before. And next, a college football coach learns what tough is from his wife. Their tackle cancer story coming up next. Tonight's tackle cancer story is one of survival and hope. You want to know what tough is? Watch a woman go through the fight of her life as she battles breast cancer. The head football coach at St. Olaf had a front row seat.
Hey now, control the tempo, right?
Craig Stern loves this stuff.
Ready, set.
He doesn't hold back when it comes to coaching football.
Hey, swim faster, baby. Water's getting deeper.
The third-year head coach at St. Olaf is patient,
Spencer,
yet demanding.
Spencer, come on.
Of a team and a program.
Pads forward, hips down, shoulders over toes.
Which has won just 2 games the past 2 seasons.
Expectations, attitude, effort.
He's a tough guy.
It's what you control.
Leading tough young men in a tough sport.
Let's do good work. Come on. Let's go.
But Craig found out just how tough he really is when his world outside of football was turned upside down.
I made Craig promise if something were to happen in surgery that he couldn't be a football coach because his schedule is so demanding and he had to take care of the kids. So I mean, you automatically think of worst case scenario because of all the stories you hear about cancer.
Cancer.
It changes your perspective immediately.
Tara Stern, Craig's wife, was diagnosed almost 2 years ago to the day with breast cancer. Crazy story. The original lump she found dissolved, but had a mammogram anyway, and the cancer was discovered in the milk duct of her other breast. Lucky and shocked at the same time. Tara had a double mastectomy and a long road of healing and reflection.
Hey, receivers, let's do some work now.
And the coach learned cancer isn't as black and white as football.
But it's not that way with cancer. You know, there's an emotional piece, there's a psychological piece that, you know, that still has to be worked through. And I think that was probably where I was the least helpful, because, you know, for me it's like, okay, we got all the cancer, you're healed, you're cleared to drive, let's go.
Everybody's cancer fight is different, and for Tara, hers was one of sheer determination. 2 years survivor, Tara Dominic. She ran this year at the Susan G. Komen 5K after barely being able to walk it last year. Another big step in a year full of personal triumphs and discoveries.
I think for me it was the overwhelming amount of love that you feel from so many people was amazing.
You know, she's unbelievable. She's an unbelievable mom. She's an unbelievable wife, and I think sometimes I mean, a lot of times I just took that for granted.
Lock knuckles.
But not anymore.
Oh!
These days, the Sterns are enjoying life.
Nice hit.
And they count their blessings.
See what you got
every day. 2 healthy kids, a football coach working hard.
Home run.
Both on and off the field to make a difference.
Oh, I missed the ball.
And a wife and mother who's now on the other side
he's going in.
of the greatest fight of her life.
When your health is jeopardized, and it could be jeopardized in a long-term basis, how your mirror is a completely new face looking back at you, without question.
I'm happy to report that Tara is doing great. Good for her. Tackle Cancer was started by the Minnesota Football Coaches Association 4 years ago to support Minnesota cancer research and patient aid projects through the Randy Shaver Cancer Research and Community Fund. By the way, St. Olaf will have their TC game later in October when they play their rival Carleton. So that'll be a big game.
That's a big game.
So congratulations to Tara and Craig. It's been a long 2 years and a tough road, and things are good.
Yeah, great family there.
Yeah.
Wonderful, beautiful day that they were out playing a little bit of baseball, and you know what? It's going to be I think we're counting Five in a row, 5 gorgeous weekends in a row.
That's
Let's take a
awesome.
look at that cabin cast. It does look great. Look at this beautiful picture that comes in from Brian in Wisconsin. So I appreciate him sending that picture. We would love to see what you see this weekend when it comes to fall colors. Make sure you share those with us as we move through next week, and we will share all of what we find with you as well. Tomorrow, or the Saturday and Sunday for the weekend, and tomorrow, by the way, as well, will be pretty much a repeat performance of the entire week. High pressure still holding steady. It'll be in the low 60s, which is just a tad below average for the first weekend of October. So welcome to October, but it looks like it will be very sunny. Now let's take a look at the rest of the state as we fly around for our cabin cast. We'll move up to Detroit Lakes, where it is going to be in the 50s both days. The winds will be up out of the south and east. So the wind that we had today pretty much is going to be sticking with us during the daytime hours both days, but a beautiful weekend nonetheless. A lot of folks taking docks out, doing a lot of fall chores, and hopefully enjoying a little bit of time as well. From Brainerd over to, from Nisswa, Brainerd, and of course Cross Lake over to Lake Mille Lacs up toward McGregor. It'll be gorgeous, 59, 57 for the weekend. The North Shore is peaking when it comes to fall color, and look at the weekend that they will have to enjoy it. Blue skies, sunshine, and temperatures in the 50s. Just exactly what the doctor ordered. We move down into northern Wisconsin, and they will have a gorgeous weekend as well. Pretty much the same scenario everywhere in the upper Midwest, with high pressure steady. And you know, actually, Hurricane Joaquin and all the rain to the east, that is remaining where that is, and so that is why our weather has stayed this nice, this long. So that is the trade-off. There it is. 63 was the high today. 65 is the average. The record set back in 1897 of 87. And for the year, we're sitting at about 1 1/3 inches above. And the sunset tonight was 6:54. We're still losing a little bit of, quite a bit of daylight, about 20 minutes a week. Taking a look at the upper Midwest, quiet across Minnesota and Wisconsin, a couple of showers off to the west, and that is where they will remain. This is the next 48 hours, the computer cast. You can see high pressure holding steady just to our east, and that allows that southerly flow to keep all those clouds at bay to the west, and that is where they will remain for the weekend. Next week, though, we'll have a chance of getting some rain. Of course, by then we'll need it. 42 for the low here in the metro. There's a frost advisory to our north, 35 in Hayward, and also in gorgeous Ely, another beautiful spot. We'll be down to 40 in Crystal in the morning, 41 in Eden Prairie at the bus stop. Tomorrow afternoon, lots of sun, 59 up north, 61 here in the metro. And then as we take a look at the next 7 days, 61, and then the weekend, not too bad. Both days looking just beautiful with temperatures in the low 60s, and we'll have that east wind. The sunset 6:48 on Sunday, and of course, a Sunday, a big day, the Twin Cities Marathon. It'll be 42 as folks are stepping out the door and heading down the path, and I know a lot of you go to watch it as well. So just a spectacular weather for running and for everyone to enjoy the weekend. And some rain moving in next week, mainly on Thursday, though, a week from today. Randy.
All right. Thanks, Bill.
Okay.
Minneapolis City Council members met with families tonight to discuss a proposed ordinance that would require businesses to provide better working conditions. If approved, employers would need to provide sick time and post schedules 28 days in advance. Businesses are divided on the issue, but workers insist adopting the practice would lead to a better quality of life.
And we're hearing from so many workers today that have to work multiple part-time jobs just to make ends meet. And when they have to choose between going to work or staying home sick, it causes real financial problems for families.
Minneapolis City Council members are still working to gather feedback from both business owners and their employees. They say they will be working on a draft of the ordinance in the coming weeks. New at 10, the Mall of America could be expanding again. The city of Bloomington is considering plans that would include 580,000 square feet of new shopping space, a luxury hotel with apartments above the guest rooms, an office building, and a 2-level underground parking garage. The addition would connect to the current mall building. Well, sports is next. The Wild wrapping up the preseason, and the Twins still in the chase for the postseason. Highlights from Cleveland next.
KARE 11 Sports from the Mayo Clinic Sports Medicine Sports Desk.
And so we head into the weekend, and the Twins still right in the thick of the race. How fun is this? Tonight in Cleveland for the 4th game of the series, top of the 4th. No score, Trevor Plouffe puts a pounding on this one, deep center field, off the warning track, over the fence. Joe Mauer scores on the ground rule double, 1-zip Twins. 7th inning, though, Roberto Perez puts an end to Tyler Duffy's shutout, 2-run jack. Puts the Indians up 2-1, and note, no bat flip tonight. 8th inning, Eduardo Escobar with the answer. Maybe the biggest hit of the season. Danny Santana scores all the way from second. We're tied up, and here we go. The wild pitch scores Nunez, and that's it. Torrey Hunter added a sac fly for insurance. Twins win it 4-2. Big victory. So huge for the Twins. This is also huge. Angels facing the Rangers. Bases loaded for Adrian Beltre. He clears the bases. 5-3 win for Texas. So LA and Minnesota are now tied. Both one game back from Houston, who is idle tonight. Royals at Target Field tomorrow for the final series of the regular season. Starting out the season in style, the defending national champion Gopher women's hockey team skates to a 2-0 shutout win over Penn State. At XL Energy Center, the final preseason game for the Wild. Jason Zucker buries the rebound. Wild up 1-zip just 5 minutes in against Buffalo tonight. Then later in the first, Wild up 2-zip, and Zach Parise keeps the party going. Big win for them tonight. They'll open the season on the road a week from tonight at Colorado. Speaking of Colorado, Matthew Stafford, Phillip Rivers. Good quarterbacks, right? But now this week for the Vikings, Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos. And to make it even tougher, games at Mile High. Vikings have a healthy amount of respect for the star QB Manning, but he, too, holds the Vikings in high regard, especially the Purple's defense.
You hear about the, I guess the different types of offenses out there, the West Coast offense, the Bill Walsh type of offense. I mean, Zimmer, in my opinion, is a founder of kind of the type of defense that he runs, that Cincinnati runs, Miami runs, different disciples. There may be somebody above him that was his, founder or mentor, but we kind of refer to it as, they're running the kind of the Zimmer defense. So, I mean, you got your own defense, and you're doing something good, right? That's big.
High praise from Peyton. That's sports. KARE 11 News, back after this.
Well, just when you thought your devices couldn't get any smaller, Apple comes along with a new creation. Make way for the Apple Ring. The tech giant recently filed a patent for the wearable device. According to the patent filing, the Ring would link to a larger device like an iPhone. Smart rings would be controlled through a touch display by your thumb. And Perks is like all excited over here.
What point is enough? I mean, like, how small?
I know.
A gold filling that's actually a smart
I
device.
can't even. This thing's too small for me. I can't see it.
It will never end. You wait and see. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.
Oh my.